It's time for the Rick Smith Show. Now, here is the voice of the working class, Rick Smith.
And welcome, brothers, sisters, working class heroes. This is the Rick Smith Show. Thanks so much for being here today on the big program. Lots to get to, lots to talk about. Joe Biden was in Pennsylvania, found his way to Allentown, to the Mack truck plant there in Macungie. Sixth president in a row to visit the Mack truck plant there in Macungie. 6 in a row. This is a significant manufacturing facility. One of the main key truck manufacturers in the country right here at home. And it's one of those things that everyone loves to go to and say, oh, look, American workers, union work and all of that stuff. Joe Biden's the first guy who said, look, I reject out of hand this defeatist view that the forces of automation and globalization mean we can't have good paying union jobs in America. And that plant shows it. Look, they make a great product. People love the iconic Mack truck. We can do these things with American labor if this is one of those ifs, if the policies are put into place to make sure that we do, and we expect it. We, the people, demand it. And I've been saying for a long time, I always look, I look for Buy American, first I look for Buy American made by union workers, then I look for Buy American, and then I look for, stuff made by union workers. That's how my pecking order goes when I make a purchase. And you ask the kids, we'll go and we'll look at something and go, okay, we want to see where things are made. We need to be more activist consumers. We need to demand that the things that we consume made right here at home by our neighbors, well, by ourselves probably. So glad to see Joe Biden in town. Glad to see him talking about Buy American, laid out the way forward. Going to use government procurement to buy things that we make here. And you go, that shouldn't even be a story. That should have been a given. That should have been going on all along. But sadly, we've allowed corporate America to abandon our shores while we give them whatever they want, all the tax breaks and all the handouts and subsidies and all that stuff. And now you've got a president. And look, Joe Biden wasn't my first guy, but I'm thrilled by the fact that he's singing the right songs. Man, he's hitting the right notes. The chord progression is spot on. Now, what do we do with it? Can we get Congress to get their heads out of their behinds long enough? Can we get them to stop fighting long enough? Can we get them to stop disagreeing long enough? I don't know. I am hopeful. That's why today I was pleasantly surprised that the Senate, first it was the Senate we've brokered a deal. There is a deal. $1.2 trillion over 8 years, $550 billion in new spending. We're gonna work on our infrastructure. And then a little bit later, the cloture vote came, advanced the bill 6732. Looks like we're gonna get it done. Looks like it might. Again, this is a might. I am not sold on the idea that we're getting any infrastructure bill, because leave it to Democrats to figure out how to screw that up, and giving Republicans the ability to help come along. But the $1.2 trillion hard infrastructure plan, that's going to have $110 billion in new funding for roads and bridges and major projects like that. $40 billion of which bridge repair, because we desperately need it. Replace some bridges, rehabilitation, that stuff. Also $73 billion to upgrade our electrical grid. Haven't needed that for several decades, but gonna move in that direction. $65 billion to get us the broadband that we need, because rural communities have been getting really the short end of the stick for way too long. $55 billion for clean drinking water, because you kind of need that. Maybe we clean up some of those lead pipes. Also $50 billion for flooding and coastal resilience. Personally, I say just move back a little bit. If you bought the house on the water, that's on you. You get one bailout. If you rebuilt and put it right back there without mitigating or without doing stuff, that's on you going forward. Just my thoughts. But Chuck Schumer did come out and say that he was gonna keep them through the weekend because no recess without it. Looks like it might happen. Now everyone was happy. Things were good. I was questioning why today was the day that it came out after the hearings yesterday, so this could steal the headlines. And I was going, this is a little curious. We need to get it done, but a little curious. And the news was, hey, good, it was something bipartisan. We're going to get this done. And then Kristen Sinema. What can you say about Senator Dipsy Do from Arizona? I remember her with her little funny skirt on, doing that little dance where she did the thumbs down for the minimum wage increase. And she didn't need to do it. It wasn't going to pass anyway. She had to put that little body English on it, do a little dance, a little curtsy kind of thing. She came out today and said that, well, the $3.5 trillion budget reconciliation infrastructure bill, just too high for her. And this sent, everything into chaos because guess what could possibly happen? And this was doomsday scenario I talked about months ago, that we could end up with nothing. Because Senator Dipsy Do here is saying, nope, we're not moving on. That's too much. We're not doing it. Maybe they can whittle that down a little bit. But now you've got House Democrats who are going to have to go, wait a second. We were told we were going to get that bipartisan bill of just the hard infrastructure stuff, and then we were simultaneously going to move the legislation to help us get the human infrastructure that we need. Help for senior citizens, help for to educate children. The human infrastructure that's been lacking for so long. It's going to be interesting to see how the House Democrats play this. Because remember, they were told both bills were gonna pass together. They were gonna get what they could get in a bipartisan fashion, and then they were going to go ahead and move on the things that our society needs desperately. And they were gonna go that alone. Starting to address climate change. Starting to do something about making a two-year college degree more accessible. A bunch of stuff that's in that to help move us forward and to help us do a little bit better. Now you've got the good senator from Arizona saying, well, no, we're not going to do that. And again, this is what I always expect from Democrats. It's that circular firing squad that they're so famous for. This is one of those things that by having such a big tent, you end up with characters like Sinema. You end up like characters like Manchin. And look, I think Manchin would come along on a big spending bill because his state desperately needs it. Now, what's weird is Manchin can basically do whatever he wants because he's in a solidly red state, and no one's really going to push him too hard. Sinema is in a swing state. And, what does that say for her reelection in the event that we actually get nothing? Because I've taken the position, if we get nothing, if this doesn't get through, Joe Biden's going to have a rough 2 years. Because the Democrats are going to lose both the House and the Senate. And you will see an impeachment of Joe Biden immediately for no reason. There will be no reason. They'll pull out the 25th Amendment. They'll pull out whatever they need to do to get him ousted. And then they'll go after Kamala Harris as well. This sadly, and I go back to the hearings yesterday. We're in this weird kind of world. We're in this weird kind of world where the Republicans want power more than they want democracy. They want to be able to control everything. The vote of the people, the will of the people be damned. Because you think about the things over the years that have died at the hands of Republicans. Labor law reform, education reform, single-payer health care. Go down the list. They haven't come up with an actual plan on how to make lives better. They simply spend their time in figuring out how to divide and pit us against each other, keep us at each other's throat. I truly believe, and this is one of those things where if 5 years ago I would have never said what I'm going to say now. 5 years ago I would have never believed it possible. 5 years ago I would have said that's insane, could never happen here. We're better than that. But I do believe the current Republican leadership, if they gain control of the House and Senate, will impeach Biden immediately. For nothing. And Harris will go as well. So that whoever the Speaker of the House is, and who knows, maybe they do try and make Donald Trump Speaker of the House. That's been thrown around a number of times already. That's on the Republican agenda. I mean, stop and think about that for a second. They would bring him back as Speaker of the House, impeach both Biden and Harris, and reinstall him. Now, it would be later than here in the next couple of weeks, because we were told in the next couple of weeks, I'm still waiting to see if he's reinstalled. But it could be just another year and a half down the road. And this is where the incredible part for me is. I don't think the Republican Party would care. They would justify it. As well, they stole the last election. Because this is why all this stop the steal stuff is still going on. I don't know that they really believed that they were going to be able to overthrow our government. I don't know that they really believed that at the higher levels. At the minion levels, all of the folks who showed up really seriously ready to hang representatives, even hang the vice president. I truly believe they thought this is our time. This is our time to take over. This is our time to instill our guy. But the upper folks, I don't know. I don't think they thought it was possible. And look, if it's not for our military leaders, which again I can't believe we're saying, we could quite possibly be in a moment with a fascist dictator. I mean, think about that for a second. And like I said, look, 5 years ago when he took office, I said it was going to be bad. It was going to be horrible. But we would work through it. We would get through the horrible time. Because we believe in democracy, we believe in our institutions, we believe in our Constitution, we believe in the rule of law, we believe in the sanctity of the ballot box, we believe in these things. Only to now find out that, well, only one party really does. And the other is ready and able to burn all of that down for pure political power. That, to me, is just remarkable. And beyond where my mind was able to take me on Inauguration Day, January 20th, 2017. Now, I've had some people go, no, Rick, I was there. I was expecting all of this. I wasn't there. I knew it was going to be bad. Knew the criming would happen, and the criming would happen often. I knew that would be the most corrupt administration in our history. I knew there were going to be tons of hearings and court battles and perp walks. Didn't realize it was going to be this kind of bad. Now, maybe I should have seen it. Maybe I should have been able to read the pulse of the anger of the people who support him. Because I've been saying that, look, the working class of this country is extremely angry. Because they haven't been able to live the lives that they were promised. That economic ability that their parents had. Because we always believe we're going to do better. We got better up. The future's bright. And for a lot of people, they're struggling to keep the lights on, struggling to keep a roof over their heads, struggling to keep the kids fed, worried about college costs that are going through the roof. And instead of using the ability of government to address those issues, they've been sold spoon-fed on the idea that no, we need the very wealthy to bail us out through handouts to them that will eventually trickle down to us in some weird way. And then everything once it's privatized will be better. And we find out that was completely backwards. The more we privatize, the worse our lives get. The more we hand over to corporate America, the higher things cost. The more that we give to the 1%, the harder it is for us to attain. It wasn't surprising when they laid it out, but it's what it's turned into. And the question is, how much are we going to allow? And this is a soul-searching moment for my Republican friends, because I've had a couple of conversations with people who truly don't believe January 6th was that big of a deal. They truly believe it was just, people, walking into their house, and that they really weren't going to hurt anyone. They really weren't going to hang anyone. They just built the gallows as a prop. That they're good people. Good God-fearing Christian people who were, if you listen to the testimony yesterday, beating and tasing and calling racial names and threatening to kill people that they claim that they loved, people that they claim they idolize, that they back. With that kind of idolization, I don't want people idolizing me. And we have to get to the bottom of this. We have to hold those accountable who did the horrible things on January 6th. And they have to go to jail. From the top all the way down. But especially the top. I'd love to hear your thoughts. You can email me, rick@thericksmithshow.com. Going to take a quick break. When we come back, Dr. Allison Gill is going to be here to share some thoughts on the hearing yesterday and maybe what we get to out of this January 6th Select Committee. Quick break. Right back with Dr. Gill.
There's nothing more American